It's Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Corey and Mason.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast, coming at you with an on-the-road version of the show this week, as we are coming back from Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're on our own Odyssey back home after seeing the Odyssey in 70mm IMAX there. We did a review of it last night that you can go check out if you want maybe a longer discussion about it. But just to save a little bit of time, and we're going to be tired when we get back, we decided to just do on-the-road version of this. So if you hear any cars or screaming or Mason yelling or people cutting us off,
Yeah.
which we started recording something yesterday and somebody just immediately cut us off.
Yeah, not a great thing. It was just like, oh, right. We had a relatively safe, easy drive most of the way. We had to kick it into high gear on the way there, like that last hour, to make sure we made it to the movie in time and had enough time to get to our seats, get a drink, and kind of have a little sigh of relief as we got to the theater. But as soon as we clicked on the video, it was boom, someone merging into me. I was like, oh god, okay.
Mason laid on the horn for like 12 seconds straight.
Which, I drive a Subaru, so my horn is like a whimper, so it's not like the most intimidating thing in the world.
But yeah, it's been a fun trip. Grand Rapids, interesting city.
Interesting, yeah.
Very interesting. People are great. People are very nice.
Yeah, everyone. Every wait staff, any person we talked to randomly, everyone was super fucking nice in Michigan. It was crazy. We hear about the Minnesota nice thing, which, living in Minnesota, it's kind of just like the Minnesota of passive aggression and people getting pissed at each other. But in Michigan, everyone's really fucking nice.
Yeah, they're cool. We hit a gun range, immediately went to a winery distillery afterwards that had a customer appreciation day that had tiki bars and the Lays.
Yeah. They're still back there somewhere.
Still got them there. Yeah. So we got those.
Little movie shopping.
Hit some good restaurants, little downtown Grand Rapids, walk through there for a sec. Yeah, so it's a very fun trip.
Yeah.
We've been looking forward to it for a long time, and everything went very well. Almost a near disaster with the Odyssey, with time zone change.
Didn't account for that.
We didn't know Michigan is in the Eastern time zone. I think we referenced that in another video or a future video that I'll put out. But we nearly didn't make it to our showing, but we did. It was fine. But speaking of that showing, we'll just kind of talk a little bit more about the Odyssey. Just a brief little review. Like I said, we posted a full review, but this movie was so cool to see in 70mm IMAX. First movie shot entirely in IMAX, and just a visual feast for the eyes. Every single scene is just frameable on a wall. We said in our review that just looking up and down at a movie screen instead of side to side is a crazy experience.
Yeah.
And seeing how much is cut off in just a normal showing is sad that people don't get to see it that way.
Yeah.
And it's cool. I love that Nolan did it, but I'm also damn, that kind of sucks that a majority of people that watch this aren't going to be able to see it that way.
Yeah, it was amazing to see. We had the little Dune 3 prologue, and that isn't obviously all in IMAX, so you get the shifts from in and out of IMAX, and I'm like, it's going to be crazy that once the Odyssey starts, that screen is full the entire time. There's no shifting within the frame, so it was insane. It was just an onslaught of perfect imagery, great practical effects, great uses of CGI, because yes, Nolan does use visual effects, happens. Performances across the board were great. Just a awesome adaptation of the Odyssey, and I think just so perfectly tells the main crux of that story so well. It's a slow-moving movie, but it is an epic, and it was never boring with its kind of slower pace to it. And I think that the kind of Chris Nolan timeline narrative jumping that he is kind of prone to do works really well for the Odyssey. So I think that a lot of his skills that he's developed were really serviced by the story and just really sung in this movie. And I'm so excited to see it again. I know it's after one viewing, it's likely one of, if not my favorite Christopher Nolan films. But I'm excited to see it again. A little worried about if it's going to hit as hard, not having it in 70mm IMAX. Just seeing the frame comparisons online of how much gets cut off. It's that is not to be a pretentious prick, but it's crazy. The 70mm IMAX is the way to see it. And it kind of makes me a little the Odyssey warrants filming it in that format and that style. But it's well, you're also kind of cutting off or cutting out a lot of people from being able to see it in that preferred format. So it feels like they're getting a lesser product. I don't know. It feels weird, but I'm happy we got to see it. I was thrilled by it. I think Himesh Patel and I keep forgetting, Samantha Morton?
Yep.
Two of the best performances in the
Standouts,
film.
yeah.
Awesome standouts. Obviously, Anne Hathaway was sensational. Tom Holland really worked for me. Sometimes it gets hard for me to all right, well, you're not Spider-Man in this one. Can you act? Yeah, he can act, and he's actually really good. And Matt Damon's a perfect Odysseus.
Yeah. It's everything about this movie is just humming. Like you said, it's just Christopher Nolan. Everything that he does well is just perfected in this movie. And I think it really does come down to telling the story well and just that crux of Odysseus's character. And a lot of great conversations that he has with Athena, played by Zendaya. I like a lot of those scenes. And one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when, spoiler alert, but you've had 3,000 years to read the fucking book, so. But when Odysseus comes back to Ithaca and he's talking to Anne Hathaway's character, but she doesn't know that it's him, and he's just talking about the fall of Troy, and he's like, the impact that had on him, as you see the flashbacks of the city just burning and buildings falling down, that worked so well.
Yeah.
And that's just why this movie works, because that's the core of it. You can have all the great technical elements, and that's some Nolan movies have that, where it looks amazing, but the characters and story are maybe not as top tier. This one works. Like you said, the performances are great. Some terrifying sequences in this movie.
Good horror sequence.
Horror sequence starts off with one with the Cyclops, which, again, just a great practical effect, but, complemented with CGI when it's needed. But just having a real big physical model there, I bet, was just so cool as an actor to be in a cave and actually have that there.
There's big guy. Oh, God.
There's big guy. It's like fucking sideways eye and sideways mouth. And then Samantha Morton as Cersei, the standout performance of the movie for me.
Yeah.
I'd seen her in stuff before, and we were looking through IMDb. I'm like, oh yeah, she's in that and that. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. But like here, she just commands the screen for like a 10 to 15 minute chunk maybe, and some of the freakiest just physical transformation that I've ever seen in a movie, just disgusting. And Robert Pattinson's great in the movie. I mean, it's just, there's so many things. We could sit here and talk for another 8 hours of this trip about how much we love this movie, because everything just works so well.
Yeah. I love the combat scenes. I think all the performances are great, obviously. There's a really cool trip to like the underworld. I forget like what the technical term or actual term within the story is of where they're at, but giving Odysseus a chance to talk to the men that he dishonored by not burying them, because he couldn't bury them. And I think that there's cool moments like that, and I think that the film handles a lot with honor and homecomings, obviously, because it's his return home, but getting the Agamemnon story and kind of what his homecoming was like and why that might worry Odysseus in his travels. And then you have all the trials and tribulations of having to get home, fighting, going through Circe, fighting a Cyclops and giants and
Sirens. That's a great scene.
That's a great scene too. But I also think it does a great thing about just like the folly of man and like the atrocities of war, and like you get that so well interspliced and like some really good emotionally climactic moments. You get to see a lot of visually intense and climactic moments of the fall of Troy, and it's intertwined really well. And I really, in those, especially towards the latter half of the movie, latter third of the movie, you really get to feel Odysseus's regret as he's kind of like experiencing that he is one of the only people that has lived through the things he's experienced that he gets to go home. And kind of the, like, was it worth it? Was all of this worth it? We killed so many people, the pillaging of Troy. Like, I think that it was just a really impressive movie. Like, I had the highest of expectations going in, and it was really hard to kind of keep them in check, especially with the drive out to Michigan and getting into that theater, settling in, seeing the screen for the first time. I was like, God, this is going to be an all-timer. Mm-hmm. And with those sky-high expectations, he still at least met them, if not exceeded. Like, I can't wait to see this again. Maybe my favorite Nolan film, and quite easily my favorite film of 2026 to this point.
Yeah. I also really love what they did with Charlize Theron. She plays Calypso in the movie, who's typically, in other tellings of these stories, more of a villainous character.
Yeah.
I really like the direction that they went here.
More sympathetic.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good choice and worked really well for the characters. The score and the sound design are merged perfectly in this movie. Ludwig Göransson is a legend already, and he just does great work again here. As for all the controversy that people were talking about going into this movie, some of the dialogue people were talking about saying mom and dad. That's like, I guess, a little thing. If I had to pick like one thing, just change it to mother and father. But like, it doesn't bother me really. Like, that's not enough to be like, that's a flaw of this movie.
If you're able to watch movies like Troy, or I saw Nolan reference Last Temptation of Christ, which is, it's not true, 100% true to the time, dialogue and wordplay. It's more kind of modernized, and it works really well in this movie. Like, after like the first 5 minutes for me, I was like, yeah, I'm in on this. I know what's going on. I'm not expecting them to speak straight from the poem by Homer. Like, I'm expecting this to kind of be just an adaptation, and it works really well in that terms. And like you bringing up the audio, that's sometimes one thing that Nolan gets knocked on is his sound mixing. No issues.
Yeah,
works well. You hear everyone. The dialogue comes across. I think like there's so much good time given to really big emotional beats that I feel like he knew not to cloud it, not to fuck it up with the audio. It just, everything felt so succinct. Like, for the quickness of a turnaround between Oppenheimer and this, since he wrote the adaptation for this film, it's really impressive how good that script is. And with that being such a quick turnaround, I just had all the confidence. I'm like, Nolan is one of maybe the two people that could direct this film at this point, like him or Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, perfect person to tackle this epic. Last few notes, if it bothered you that Lupita Nyong'o's in this movie, she's not in it much. So
and she's great.
Yeah, she's good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she's good. She has just a few scenes.
She has actually really great scene with her and Agamemnon.
Yeah, good scene there. Elliot Page is in the movie. Not Achilles. That was a thing that people going into this movie were convinced. It's not Achilles.
Which I also saw that rumor, and that's what I expected going in. I was like, okay, so Elliot Page is playing Achilles, fine, whatever. And then, what is it,
Sinon, yeah.
Sinon, yeah.
Which, like, the way that they use that character and tying back to Robert Pattinson, like, it works well. And again, just using the structure of jumping back in time to show something, and I thought it worked well. And then Travis Scott, if it bothers you that he's in the movie, he has the first line of the movie. Yeah. But it actually works I know Nolan talked about like the oral poetry of the time. It makes sense why he's there in Ithaca for all the suitors and their scenes and everything. So, all the weird controversy going into it was just weird, and people were just trying to find something to like. Great director. We got to find something to bring him down. It's like none of that shit matters.
Costumes aren't time accurate. It's like there's a Cyclops in this movie. Is that time accurate?
That's fucking real.
Fuck, watch the movie. It's a movie.
It's great. Again, just shout out to Hoyt van Hoytema.
Agamemnon. He's not Benny Safdie's not a massive role in this film. Like, his presence is big, and there are some shots, you brought it up, where he is like prime Darth Vader mode, and just his walk, in the weight of him, and obviously his armor, his stature. There's a shot of him walking to Troy, and it is fucking chilling.
Gates of Troy swing open, and he's just there. Men run by him. It's fucking badass.
It's so tough. I wish maybe could have saw having him in it more, but it's not his story, and he's more of just like, yep, he's the commander, he's the leader of this army, so Odysseus is under his rule. But I also think that this film did a good job at making Odysseus somewhat flawed, too. He's a smart, great leader of men, but also he's doing like weird things that break away from the actual Odyssey and is a new updated update for this rendition, this adaptation, that I was like, oh, that's an interesting take, and I actually really like that, of turning back and shooting an extra arrow when you probably didn't need to, and having that sort of chain reaction of events. But I was like, okay, kind of a dumb call, but also I get your frustration, I get why you did this. So I like to see kind of, he's not a perfect man. He's a Greek hero, and even with that still brings flaws with it. So I really appreciated that.
Brother just picked the worst islands to land on, like 6 times in a row.
He's got bad luck.
Fucking Cyclops? Oh, great. All right. Surely it can't be worse than that. Oh, some big fuckers with swords in the woods? Oh, great.
Circe?
Which that scene,
Sirens?
I forget the name of those guys. We looked it up. It starts with an L.
I couldn't even tell you.
It was
Even if I had to read, I don't know if I could pronounce it. Is the thing.
that is one of the most visually like arresting scenes.
Yeah.
In the, I mean, all of it is, but
Yeah, it's the big cardboard cutout probably in the theater that you went to.
yeah, of just the snow falling in the trees. You just see the height of the trees and the height of these dudes and just Odysseus and all the other men there. Again, just shout out Hoyt van Hoytema, who's just a legend, and getting to see in the theater we were at. There's a viewing window you can go to behind and see the 70 millimeter film rolling through there. That was really cool, just to see how fucking big and how much process this takes instead of just like a digital thing for a projectionist.
Yeah, I worked at a movie theater. When you got like the access key, which is basically just a code to enter in, and boom, now you have the movie on your computer and you can play it in your theaters. It's like, well, that's easy. But to see it physically was crazy. I'm like, how do we get this out of here?
Unreal. And it was cool. They had like a map you could pin up, like, where'd you come from to see this movie? So just overall, the experience was great. We got a popcorn bucket of not the Trojan Horse one, but just the regular Odyssey one, which was really cool. I actually prefer that one, I think. Yeah. So we did that. We got the Siren Song drink, exclusive drink. That was a bourbon and schnapps and other shit.
Real nice.
Very good after rushing into the theater. But we actually made it in good time and like had enough time to just chill for a second. Because it was that was our Iliad journey there, and the fucking Trojan War was that last hour of us rushing to the theater. I was like, oh, time change. Oh, fuck. Okay, we're just gonna get there.
Didn't account for that. Yeah. It's a good thing we left a half an hour earlier than we were thinking we were gonna.
Yeah, it worked out great. So overall, just the weekend was so much fun. Again, not to be the pretentious film dudes, but like if you have the opportunity to see this in 70 millimeter IMAX, do it. It is just a treat. If you don't have that, still go see this movie. It's absolutely worth it. It's an epic in every sense of the word by one of the greatest directors who's ever lived, and he's just put everything into this movie, and just story, characters, practical and visual effects mixed together, score, cinematography, sound design, everything in this movie, fucking baller.
Well, I think this kind of condensed review of the Odyssey is probably actually as long, if not longer, than our actual review of the Odyssey, but you can also check that out. We probably say largely the same stuff, maybe some different notes, but another movie that we watched this week going into watching the Odyssey driving out to Michigan was, me and Corey both hadn't seen Troy. And I remember seeing like snippets of it, watching it on TV as a kid, and hearing that overall it was just like it's good, it's fine. So going into that, watching it this week, I looked it up and saw that a lot of people praised the director's cut, so watched that, which is I believe 3 hours and 16 minutes. And it is a more grounded take on the Iliad, which is that first, basically like the partner to the Odyssey that they're talked about kind of succinctly together. A lot of the same characters, but mostly focusing on the life of Achilles and him in the Trojan War and under Agamemnon's rule. And Brad Pitt, Eric Bana, Brian Cox, Brendan Gleeson, Diane Kruger, Orlando Bloom, Peter O'Toole's in this fucking movie. Rose Byrne, surprisingly, in a movie. It was just, not to bury the lead on this movie was awesome. The director's cut, at least, really sings. It works. I think the only negatives I really have on this movie is the grounded approach and losing out on the presence of the gods in it, which, it works, but I've read the Iliad. I like kind of the shit that the gods get up to and the dog shit things that they do to men, and it's just all right, I kind of feel like that's a missed out on opportunity for this film. But the cast is great. The score is exceptional. Wolfgang Peterson directed his ass off, apparently, because this movie looks great still in 2026. It's not dated. I think that there's a couple of slow motion, well, at least one that comes to mind specifically, a slow motion moment with a climactic moment with Achilles, where I was just don't love that either, where he kind of gets hit with an arrow and slow-mo moans to the stars, or groans probably is more accurate. But overall, I was really blown away by this movie. I had to watch it kind of in segments just based on how my week was laid out, but it was something I was so actively excited to continue watching. I had to watch an hour. All right, I got to go do something, or I have to go to bed so I can wake up for work tomorrow, and then I'll come back to it. And I was just itching to finish that film. I really enjoyed it.
It's obviously a perfect, prelude to going into the Odyssey. If you've never seen it before or haven't seen it in a while, just obviously a great story. And then I just really liked how it was divided amongst a lot of different people, and it always felt balanced.
Yeah.
Where you get a lot of great Brad Pitt as Achilles, just sleeping with women and being a fucking awesome warrior, and then you get great stuff with Brian Cox as Agamemnon, who's just kind of a shit who's just laughing through a bunch of stuff and not really fighting anybody, but he's like, let's fucking storm the beach right now. And then, I really liked Diane Kruger as Helen of Troy. Obviously insanely hot in one of her first film roles, if not her first. Orlando Bloom as Paris is just you've talked about it, the boyish looks, but just kind of a little pussy. He just doesn't, he's like, no, I can fucking take him on, I'll fight him. And then he's just crawling back to his brother, like, please help, please help. Eric Bana is really great in the movie, too. I wish he was in more stuff right now, just because he was for a while there in a lot of things, and I thought he was really good as Hector. Some standout fights between Hector and Achilles outside of Troy. That's just a badass one-on-one battle. A great introduction to Achilles early on in the movie, like his first time he rides in and just fucking jumps and slashes a dude in the neck. So
yeah, he's late to the party on that fight, and then he just strolls up and ends it in seconds, and it's like, yep, all right, he's the guy. That's badass. Why they're waiting on him.
The scope and scale of this movie is great. All of the battle scenes of just the Trojans and the Greeks, and you just see them coming towards each other. There's so much great buildup of just seeing these armies. You're like, oh, this is going to get fucky in the trenches here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like movies like this are like, I don't know, the epics that we got in the 2000s, like Lord of the Rings, or even like a adventure movie with like Pirates of the Caribbean, stuff like that, or even other sword and sandal movies like Gladiator and things that we got. It fits in that time period so well, but I also think it holds up really well too. So I don't know. I like Troy a lot.
It feels very practical. Like, I don't know to the extent how much CGI was used, but like it feels tangible. The sets feel real. The films aren't padded out with CGI extras. Like, it feels like an authentic movie with actual like massive cast. Some of my favorite moments in the film are moments when I thought the movie just looked its best. Whenever they really filmed anything in Troy at night. There's a couple of funerals where they burn the remains to honor their men, and it just, the way everything's lit, and you got a big cast and a big crew of people just around in the same area. I thought it was just really impressive. It's very immersive. I obviously we're talking about the director's cut, so I don't know to the extent how much I would like the theatrical cut, because I haven't seen that in its entirety. But the director's cut, I think, is an awesome movie. Just such a kind of a surprise, just because I didn't have the highest of expectations watching it, and just kind of wanted to check it off the list before the Odyssey. But it's fantastic. It's a great watch.
Yeah, I think my only little flaw is just something that I've always thought. The Trojan horse is just kind of fucking stupid.
They handle that so much better in the Odyssey.
Yeah.
And make it look like a gift from the gods. Whereas in this, it's like Odysseus getting that plan, which Odysseus is supposed to be a very smart man. And that moment when it clicks for him, like, wait a minute.
We're a horse.
I think we got something here. I think I got an idea. And then the horse looks like absolute shit. Looks man-made. It looks like, I feel like they're like, we have to make it look grounded and real and man-made so it looks believable. But also by doing that, it's like, well, no one wants this like bundle of twigs in the shape of a horse. Like, that doesn't look like an offering. It looks like a mistake.
My thing is just like, there's gaps in between the wood and the panels. So like, if they're moving it, you just see people rustling around in there. Like, then in Nolan's The Odyssey, it's like all enclosed, so you can't see on the inside. So I'm like, all right, that works better. But yeah, just the scene of Sean Bean seeing a guy carving a horse, being like, wait a minute, what is this? We got something here. But also, Sean Bean as Odysseus, really good.
Yeah,
I liked him a lot. So yeah, Troy is fucking awesome. If you've never seen it before, definitely watch that. Have a little Greek week like we did, and watch Troy and the Odyssey. The last Odyssey-related thing, I had seen most of this movie before, but it's its own telling of the Odyssey. And no, I'm not talking about SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Also check that out because it's great. Shell City.
Should have watched it this week.
But I watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Which is Coen Brothers movie from 2000, I think it is. And it is, you got George Clooney as Ulysses, and then you got Tim Blake Nelson and John Turturro, 3 convicts that escape from a chain gang, and George Clooney's trying to get them back to this treasure back in his home state. And this is such a fun adventure. Obviously, the Coen brothers' dialogue and everything is so much fun. The music in this movie is great. The Inconceivable, like,
all through his days.
such a good song. I listen to that so much. But just all the other songs they have in there are really great too. And just reading up at how this movie won Album of the Year at the Grammys and won like country music awards and all this type of stuff for the music, that I feel like the music lived on maybe more than the movie, because I don't hear a lot of people talk about this movie, but they should, because it's really good. The great supporting cast. John Goodman's really fun in the movie. And then you just have Holly Hunter comes in at the end as George Clooney's wife, and all that comes with that. And yeah, I just love the hijinks that these characters get up to, going to a fucking Klan meeting, trying to save their friend from there. So just a lot of really fun moments. Such a great little adventure with these characters in its own weird little telling of the Odyssey. I don't know. I just love all the Dapper Dan. I'm a Dapper Dan man. Like, just notable lines that really stick with me. This was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay and Cinematography. Roger Deakins did the cinematography. Obviously, it's going to look great. So, yeah, this was one that was, I remember watching, like, part of it in 10th grade English class, because we read the Odyssey, and then watched this movie, and I think I was gone for, like, the last day that they finished it. So I never actually watched the end of the movie, so it's great to actually sit down and do that now. Again, just a great little prelude going into the Odyssey. Just a movie that is so much fun.
Yeah, I really like that movie. And that's kind of a not a forgotten about, but when you hear people talk about the best of the Coen brothers, I feel like people misremember. They're like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I forget about that one, because I often do that too. And I really do like that movie, and I think it's great. Happy you got to get like a more complete viewing of that, and also a good week to do it. The other film that I watched this week, which was a newer release, Corey mentioned, or I believe talked about it last week.
Yep.
A film that was my favorite movie of the year for all of 5 days until I saw The Odyssey. I watched The Invite with Olivia Wilde, Seth Rogen, Penelope Cruz, Edward Norton, which you could make an argument for any four of them to be nominated for an Oscar at the end of this year. This is such a well-written, such a confidently directed film from Olivia Wilde. The script by, I forget who her writing partner was, but Rashida Jones and
Will McCormick.
I think that it feels like a play. Like, I could see this be taken to a stage. Like, it feels like it was adapted from the stage. The thing I wanted to start off with was the thing that probably hit me the hardest emotionally, which I completely forgot about, and I heard mention of and then saw the movie. But at the end, movie wraps up and it says "For Diane," and it's just, that's so perfect, dedicating a movie to Diane Keaton, because this is a very, like, it feels like something she would have been in, or it feels like a movie tailor-made for her. The comedy in this film, going into it, Corey kind of tried to preface the type of humor to expect, and I found it to be even funnier than he made it sound. I thought I was laughing nonstop. Some of my favorite jokes and some of the most, like, relatable relationship humor too, of Seth Rogen coming home from work, getting bombarded with questions, laying down on the floor because his back hurts, and he's just like, can we just, what's going on? You invited people over tonight? What? Why didn't you tell me this? I did tell you this like a month ago. Oh, no, you didn't. And I like their banter. I think the chemistry between the cast here is the thing that, aside from the writing, that really sets this film apart and makes it something special. There's also some really good camera work, great lighting. I love the color palette of this film. Edward Norton and Seth Rogen kind of on again, off again friendship, but also like I hate you right now moments where I was like, this is surprising. I really dig this. Some good uncomfy, like, this at times plays like the dinner party episode from The Office in the best of ways. It was just such an enjoyable watch. I brought my wife with, and she was cackling the entire time. This movie is so much fun. I think one of the best written kind of mid-budget-ish comedies I've seen in a long time. Olivia Wilde, this was maybe your best achievement as a director, at least to this point, with Booksmart and Don't Worry, Darling. And I think, Seth Rogen saying "count the rings," and the joke that references is, had me in stitches. I was gonna die laughing. So yes, it's really funny. There's also really deep emotional moments that hit and work. And I think that you brought it up last week, almost a pitch perfect ending. A good resolution for a lot of these characters. It works. And yeah, I want, like, it felt like I was just a fly on the wall watching this actually play out in real life. It was so much fun and just so investing.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I could rewatch this movie anytime, and I've seen it just like a week ago. Like, I can't wait to watch this one again. It's moving. I think I said it was my fourth favorite of the year last week. I think it's moved up a little bit, and maybe like 3, maybe 2. I don't know.
It is now my second because Odyssey.
A couple days. It was
The
on
invite.
top.
The invite finally usurped Bone Temple, so now Bone Temple was number 2, and then the Odyssey came out, and now Invite moves to 2, Bone Temple to 3.
There you go.
Great watch week for me. I also watched Monsters vs. Aliens, and that was the first time I saw that.
Yeah.
Which, if I watched that movie, I borrowed his DVD copy of it.
Hell yeah.
If I watched that movie as a kid, I probably would have burned out the fucking VHS or DVD I had. I love that.
That's what I did.
It was such a fun watch. It's just so stupid. Seth Rogen as Bob, so funny to me still as an adult. The Jello wobble thing that he does, which the meme is everywhere. So finally getting the context of that scene, it's still really funny in the scene. Just such a fun movie. I wish we kind of got more like just wild out there creative takes or creative animated films that aren't like a Minions 7 or Despicable Me Universe film or a Super Mario Galaxy. Like, it was nice just getting some original IP. It's like, all right, I enjoyed this. I like the voice cast a lot. I had a fun time watching it. It was kind of just like, that's what I started my week with, and it was great.
I remember watching this movie, that specific DVD, in like elementary school when it came out, and I had just a bunch of merch for the movie too, like a Dr. Cockroach bookmark that I was just stoked about as a kid. And then I went to my buddy Trent's house, and he had the movie, and we're like, let's fucking watch this like 8 times in a row. And then we fell asleep, and the menu title was like playing on loop, and I just remember waking up multiple times in the night to that. But no, this movie's so much fun. I'm glad you checked it out. I remember getting that DVD, and then it came with Bob's Big Break, which is a just like 20 or 30 minute 3D adventure that you can watch. And I ate that shit up as a kid.
I think that would actually be really fun to watch.
Yeah, we should do that. But no, so that's what we watched this week. Obviously, not as much as some other weeks, just with the trip and everything, but it was a lot of fun. Also watched Family Guy on the hotel TV. That was great.
And Broncos versus Bills, the 2025 divisional round.
Did some highlights.
Yeah.
We're getting excited for football. We get that coming up soon here. American Dad was the first night. We're like, it's not quite hitting. Family Guy happened the next night. We're like, let's fucking go. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, this week, a little bit quieter, which we're both excited for. One, because it's your brother's wedding this upcoming week.
I get to officiate, and I am so stressed about. So excited to take that on and be able to do it with my brother and for his bride-to-be. It's going to be really fun.
I don't have to do anything, and
you get to just like come have fun with my family. I fucking hate you.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. So thankfully, we don't have to stress about seeing any big movies this week because there's not much. First one is Motor City, which is starring Alan Ritchson. Takes place in 1970s Detroit. John Miller, who's played by Ritchson, falls for a local gangster's girl. This is a stupid fucking synopsis. In retaliation, the gangster enacts a frame job to send the innocent man to prison. Life ruined, Miller plots a revenge campaign against the man who took his girl away.
John Miller. John White guy name.
John also just saying like his girl.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's a weird IMDb synopsis. But I like Alan Ritchson, and action movie in Detroit in the 70s. Like, that could be fun, as dumb as the synopsis sounds, but that feels like it would have been a streaming movie, or should be, maybe. I don't know. The other one that I kind of forgot that this franchise is still going on, but Pinocchio Unstrung. It's directed by the guy that did Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 1 and 2. I think was it Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare? Is that also in this franchise?
Was that Steamboat thing?
Oh yeah, it was Steamboat Willie?
They did like a Steamboat
horror thing. I don't know if that was part of it. Who fucking knows anymore?
We saw those first 2 Winnie the Pooh movies together.
Yeah, the seeing the first one, especially in theaters, was like an interesting little one night only event. I don't care for either of those movies.
The second one's kind of fun.
The second one's better for sure.
Way better.
But yeah, this universe is just not for me. But I guess it's a dark coming of age reimagining of Pinocchio. The unsettling tale follows the iconic puppet's disturbing journey toward becoming real. So,
I mean, yeah,
sure. I mean, I don't know. This one, I guess, has the potential to be the best of these movies. Not that would take much, but
No, I think they all have the potential to be the best because they're all so blatantly the worst.
they're just like, I don't know, they're just cheap and they're meant to be low budget, whatever.
There's some good merit to them. Like even some of the practical effects and makeup work, I will say, not to shit on it too much. Like there's some good stuff in the like impressive for the budget that they have.
Yeah, especially the second one. The first one I was like, but second one there's a little bit more there. The movie that I'm most interested in this week is Her Private Hell, which is directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. He did Bronson and Drive, Only God Forgives, and it's a hypnotic, unhinged thriller with an original story promising plenty of glamour, sex, and violence. So
IMDb synopsis really came through.
Do you get a sense of what the story is there?
I honestly watched the trailer. That might even not help you. I don't know.
The trailers have looked interesting, and you have Sophie Thatcher and
big fan of her.
Havana Rose Liu, who I'm not super familiar with, but Charles Melton, Dougray Scott. So it looks interesting, and it's a very unique director too. So I'm curious to see what he does there. I think this was at Sundance, maybe.
Yeah.
And
festival,
heard some people love this movie, and then some people walked out like halfway through it. So
it's very Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yeah,
he's not like the most viewer-friendly film director, which like sometimes I really like, sometimes I appreciate it. I haven't seen everything, but I do love Bronson. I love Drive. So I've always wanted to watch Neon Demon, but that
was his last movie. Yeah,
I know that movie will likely give me a stomach ache, so haven't gotten around to it. But.
But we'll probably check that out at some point. Maybe not this week, but at some point.
I'm honestly just gonna probably try and see the Odyssey again. If I see a movie this week, it's gonna be the Odyssey.
I might see Moana.
Don't do it.
I don't know. We almost saw that on the yesterday. We're like,
which would have completed a wild day of gun range, winery, getting burgers at a bar, and then immediately going to see Moana. It's like we shot guns 5 hours ago. Now we're gonna watch Moana.
Nobody else. I was telling Mason this. There's nobody else that I could have done this trip with of like the random shit of like, all right, drink,
just
shoot
us
guns.
checking shit off a list, basically.
Yeah, let's go do this.
Movie shop.
Yeah, it was fun, but I don't know. Maybe I'll see Moana. I want to. I mean, we teased it last week. We promised the people that
I
we
will
would talk.
tease it till the day I die, and I will not touch that movie.
Our thumbnail was Moana. We teased.
But we didn't title it Moana, so like, come on.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. But as far as physical media stuff, we actually had a fun little Blu-ray hunting as we were there. Not as much as I would have liked. There was a couple spots I wanted to make it to, but they just closed before we could get there. But first of all, we tried to go to Walmart, and I wanted to get Obsession because that came out this week, but they only had the Blu-ray and like more DVDs of it, not the 4K. So I'm like, all right. And then they had nothing else, like just one rack on the end, not even a good section. That sucked. But then we went to a used store called Disc Replay, which I've always heard about and seen other like YouTubers go to, and always wanted to go in because I just see the rows and stacks of movies, and that's exactly what it was. And there I got Don John for like $3, and then I got Molly's Game for $5, I think it was. So it was really cool. You got Charlie Wilson's War from there?
Yep, which I haven't seen. I got it for $8, Blu-ray, brand new, still in the plastic. We were watching the Dan Murrell kind of full Blu-ray collection video, which is a 4-hour-long video. We watched it broken up over 2 nights. But he talked about Charlie Wilson's War. Corey commented on like, that's such a good movie. And I'm a big Seymour Hoffman fan, so like to watch a movie with him and Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts. I'm excited to check it out. So finding that for a good deal is pretty sweet. And we also hit up a Barnes & Noble. And I got, because of the Criterion sale, I got Days of Heaven, which is, I'm not the biggest Terrence Malick fan. I appreciate his stuff, but I don't really love it. Like, I can see that, yes, this is good, but it just doesn't always hit me. But I remember in the lead up to, I think it might have been even the Odyssey. I saw like an interview with a bunch of cinematographers, them talking about some of the most influential visual experiences they've had with movies. And Days of Heaven was commonly one of the films that they reference of like, hey, if you want to learn the ins and outs of cinematography and see something truly special, watch Days of Heaven. So, all right, 94-minute Terrence Malick movie. Hell yeah, I'll check it out. So bought that, add that to my collection. Since it has such a shorter runtime, I'll probably get to it faster than some of the longer movies I'm owning and just sitting on for a while. So I'm actually really excited for that one.
Yeah, I also took advantage of that Criterion sale. I got Killers of the Flower Moon, which you got a few weeks back, right?
2 weeks back. Beautiful
So,
4K Blu-ray.
Oh, it's the cover is great. We've been waiting for that movie to come out on physical media for a long time. Finally have it. Really like that movie. And then also got Sentimental Valley, which is a Best Picture nominee from last year.
I do really like the artwork on that one.
Yeah, really cool.
And I don't love that movie, but I like the artwork.
I'd be curious to rewatch the movie and see if I change my thoughts or like it more, because I like it, but I didn't love it. Yeah, so I got both of those. Those were after the sale. It was like $25 each, so that was pretty sweet. Yeah, so it was a good little Blu-ray thing. If you want to watch a short of us in our seedy hotel room talking about the movies,
which Corey sprung on me after like having 2 zins in, a couple of drinks going, and I'm like, I'm winding down, ready for bed, even though we didn't go to bed till like fucking 3 a.m. basically. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm done. You're like, you know what? Fuck it, we're doing it. I need to get up. I need to wake up. I have energy. I'm like, why? We're going to bed soon. Like, yeah, you sprung that shit on me. It is a very seedy photo or a video in a very seedy hotel.
That's the perfect time to do it. No, it was fun. So you can go check that out, and if you want to see the actual, we hold up the movies and everything, you can look at that. Okay, into some movie news. Actually, sorry, coming out this week. I think last week Pillion was on the list of things that came out last week, and then they changed it, so it's actually out now.
Weird.
But I don't know why they did that.
I don't know if I've ever seen that happen.
But anyways, Falling Down and Pleasantville are also coming out on 4K. There's a very slow release week. Last week was a lot of shit. So, okay, into movie news. Going to start off with a sad bit of news here with Sam Neill passing away at the age of 78, who obviously Jurassic Park, Dr. Alan Grant is probably how everybody knows Sam Neill when you think of him first. And just such a unconventional leading man who's never he never hogs the screen or never is like, I am the star of this movie, but he is such a good core of a movie, and that's apparent in Jurassic Park, especially, of just being the focal point, but also letting Jeff Goldblum and Richard Attenborough and Laura Dern all have their moments, and the kids and his relationship with the kids in that movie is a good little arc. So he's just such a great guy, and hearing, just seeing Laura Dern and Goldblum's posts about him afterwards, like, just a gentleman, great guy, like, just nothing but great things from everybody. So very sad news. He obviously was back in Jurassic Park 3 and Dominion, and even though that movie's not good, it was fun to see the old cast together again, and knowing that they were having fun being together makes it a little more, watchable, I suppose. But just in a lot of very interesting movies in his career. The Omen 3, The Final Conflict, which I watched through the Omen movies, 2 years ago when the first Omen came out, and Omen 3 is not good, but Sam Neill is good as Damien in that movie. He's really given it his all, and it just, again, speaks to how good of an actor he is. Just some other things he was in: Possession, Hunt for Red October, The Piano, In the Mouth of Madness, Event Horizon. A really cool limited series, I think it was like 3 episodes, called The Triangle, which is just a group of people going to the Bermuda Triangle. Eric Stoltz is in it. I watched it as a kid. I really liked it, and that was another early Sam Neill exposure for me. Daybreakers, Peaky Blinders, which I just watched through earlier this year. He's great as Inspector Campbell in that show. A very awful person at a lot of times, but he plays it really well and gives it a lot of humanity. And then some more recent ones: Hunt for the Wilder People, he's really good in. And then he was in the 2 latest Thor movies, Ragnarok and Love and Thunder, as the Odin actor, which is just a fun little perfect role for him. When he popped up in Ragnarok, I'm like, yes, that is awesome to see. So, love Sam Neill. Again, just such an unconventional leading man, but such an underrated hero of movies.
Yeah, it's kind of upsetting news that we got at the early part of this week that kind of painted the week in a different light of just like, oh, damn it. Like, it just feels weird. I'm a big fan of Sam Neill. Everything that you said about him and his ability as a leading man to not, like you said, hog the screen, to share the screen and never feel like has an ego of him, like to be a gentleman on screen and to have that shine through. For me, In the Mouth of Madness comes to mind, and in that and the Hunt for Red October, those are 2 movies that I really love. Him being a big portion of why those movies matter to me so much. I always would have liked to see Montana. Just a great line from him. And obviously Jurassic Park 3 is still something I really like with him in it. But Yeah, it's weird. When I saw the news come through like on Instagram, it was just like a big shot of his face, but it had text like breaking news. I was like, oh, is he going to be in a new movie? Like, 'cause I knew he had like some sort of health concerns that he was battling. I was like, oh, is he coming back to film? And then reading into it and seeing, oh no, he's had this past. Upsetting because like 78, that's a good life, but I still think he got more in you. And I don't know, it's sad because that or Hunt for the Wilder People. Oh my God, you got to bring that one up too. I fucking love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a different world to live in without Sam Neill. It's a little bit sadder, but honestly, some of the movies that you listed out that I haven't seen, like I've heard great things about Daybreakers. Maybe I try and check that out.
That's a pretty fun movie. Yeah, I like it.
So yeah, love Sam Neill. It sucks. Yeah, it's a hard thing to kind of see through.
Just wanted to mention one other person that passed away this week, Brenda Fricker, who was probably most famously known as Bird Lady from Home Alone 2. Yeah. But she was also Best Supporting Actress winner for My Left Foot, which I've never seen before.
I haven't either.
I've heard great things, and this may kind of push me to watch that in the near future. I know she was in Angels in the Outfield, which is a movie I grew up watching a lot too. A Time to Kill, I know she was in as well. So yeah, just again, just an actress that I'm not as familiar with in a lot of her roles, but the Bird Lady, Pigeon Lady from Home Alone 2, serving the same role as the old man from the first Home Alone movie of they're a scary person, but actually they're not that bad. Yeah. Also, come up to my weird bird attic and come up here, little kid. Yeah, okay, a little strange, but she's really memorable in the role, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, sad to lose both Brenda Fricker and Sam Neill this week, but you can live on every Christmas through Home Alone 2 and Jurassic Park with Sam Neill stuff. Alrighty, into some other news from the week. A couple trailers to talk about. We had Digger, which was the biggest one, and we had like a little tease before, like a title tease kind of.
Him dancing with a shovel.
Yeah. This one we get a much more sense of the story. From what I can gather, he's kind of like an oil baron or oil tycoon or something like that. And what John Goodman's in there, and it's just Alejandro G. Inarritu directing the movie, and he hasn't made a movie since Revenant, right?
No. He had one.
Oh no, he did.
Netflix
He did.
That you watched. I didn't see.
Yeah, what the fuck was that called?
It's like Coda, but it's not that.
I'm gonna do this in real time.
I really like the trailer. I'm thrilled by it. I think that without seeing the movie, Tom Cruise is likely going to be in contention for a best actor.
Oh yeah,
Oscar. And this might be the role that pushes him into winning. I think that this has notes of like Doctor Strangelove, which is one of my favorite Kubrick films, and I love the humor. I love the how long does my cat have left? I don't know, 5 days or minutes. Like, I really think that this is a funny movie. I think it looks interesting, and it's shot like it looks like a Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu film, which it just has big, broad shots and awesome kind of landscapes, and the visuals of it are something really interesting. And I like the cast that is supporting Tom Cruise in this film, so I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Fable, not Fable.
So Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, came out in 2022, got nominated for Best Cinematography that year, which, yeah, the cinematography looks good. I don't care for that movie all that much, but, yeah, he's such an interesting visual director, too, so I'm just very curious about this one and seeing what they're cooking up. We had a little behind-the-scenes type look at Hunt for Gollum with Andy Serkis and his little fucking leotard with dots on it and shit.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I'm excited for... I don't know, sort of excited for that movie, I guess, to see more Gollum. Smeagol's one of my boys,
One of my boys. The trailer's going to have to do a lot of work for me, I feel like. You have to try and lull me into thinking, all right, this is Lord of the Rings, not Hobbit level, like tier. Like, what are we getting into?
Yeah, better be better than Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim.
Didn't watch that
animated movie. It's not terrible, actually, but hopefully it's better. We also had A Nightmare on Elm Street. New movies coming from Paramount. They acquired the rights to the franchise, so they're going to be pumping out a new one, which we haven't had since the
2009?
2009? Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Remake?
Hey, don't. With, what the fuck is his name? Why am I
Jackie Earle Haley?
Yes, Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy, which, like, that's a pretty good choice.
Yeah, he's a great choice.
The movie's kind of I don't love that movie.
No, I think it's absolute dog shit. But I love Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, and Dream Warrior. But the original is one of my favorite horror films. It scarred me as a child because I watched it when I was way too young. I don't like the ending to the original, where Dreamland gets pulled through the door, looks like dog shit. I think the ending to the remake, better. With the mirror, way better. Works better. It does the same kind of note to it, but I think that the remake handles the actual ending to the film a lot better. But the movie itself, not good.
Yeah. There's I love the original too. Dream Warriors, the third one is really great.
Still haven't seen New Nightmare.
New Nightmare is great. That's probably my second favorite one, if I had to say. Second or third. I think it's a really cool idea, and I don't know, Wes Craven just is so interesting with stuff he's doing. I get confused with there's like 3 titles now. It's like Dream Warriors, Dream Master, Dream Child. I always forget which one is which sometimes. But interesting franchise. Be curious to see, first of all, who's going to play Freddy in this new movie. That's kind of a big thing.
Tiffany
Haddish is Freddy Krueger. That'd be an interesting choice. But yeah, I don't know. The kind of charm of the originals is that campiness, 80s-ness of it. So it's like, are we going dark and gritty, or are we tapping into the camp and fun?
You bitch. Freddy saying bitch.
We'll see who it is.
Yeah.
And then we're a little DC news. Zolo Maraduena, he's coming, who plays Blue Beetle in remember that Blue Beetle movie from a few years ago when they pumped out 4 movies in the last year of the DCEU being in existence? Not a bad movie, actually. It's enjoyable enough. I like the suit a lot in Blue Beetle. I think it looks sick.
I think most of the visual effects in that film really hold up and are pretty great.
It's not bad. But he's going to be showing up in Man of Tomorrow next year, the new Superman movie. So rounding out, another roster. I'm sure the Justice Gang is going to show back up in that, and obviously Lex Luthor and Brainiac and all the shit. Just a little bit of news there. And then the biggest movie news maybe of the week is, well, we'll start off with another trailer. We got the Batman Part 2. We got a teaser for this movie.
Test footage?
Yeah, of just Pattinson turning around.
Maybe his ears on his cowl are longer?
People
have said, I don't know.
Were going crazy about that for some reason. I'm like, maybe, I don't know.
See it, sure.
But yeah, this movie was going to come out next October. That's not going to happen. It's coming out. It's scheduled to come out in February of 2028 now. We've talked about it. I think
more cool with this.
Yeah, not that I'm cool. Like, obviously, I want to see the fucking movie.
Yeah.
But once it does come out in 2035, I think
it's gonna be.
I feel like the movie is probably going to be fucking great, and then I'm not going to really care about the gap in between anymore, because I'll just be like, yeah, this is great, and I'm glad that they took their time. Also, you could probably speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's sad that we have to wait more months to see this fucking thing, but hopefully they take time and make it good.
Yeah. Call me petty, but I think I will hold this against this movie. You guys, maybe you didn't know you were going to make a sequel to this movie right away, but you're making a Batman film. Unless this movie's dog shit, you're going to make money. So it's safe to assume you're likely going to have to plan out for a sequel here sometime soon as well. I think that if it is due to Matt Reeves' kind of health issues, then sorry. Hey, we had the Penguin miniseries, or season 1.
Yeah, it's great.
He didn't direct any of those episodes, so maybe you could just hand this off and put it in someone else's competent hands to make this movie happen. Robert Pattinson been like, shit, I was just going to do a couple movies, and then I did a whole actual, actors back catalog, legendary run that I'm on. Oh, I'll go back to Batman. Oh, no, we're delaying it again. Okay, well, actually, they're filming, so it doesn't really matter much, but I think the things that I've seen is that there's to account for more post-production, which just sounds like a heap of bullshit, because with how Hollywood's scheduling systems work and having to make sure that everyone's timelines work out, No. You schedule for post-production. You have that planned out well in advance, and that's part of the reason why you dictate when you're releasing. So that's a big heap of bullshit. So Matt Reeves, if you're not healthy, I feel bad for you. Get better soon, but give the movie to someone else. Jesus Christ. I can't wait to see Across the Spider-Verse and Batman Part 2 in 2035.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not happy about it.
Beyond the Spider-Verse, sorry.
Yeah. But in an age when you see some franchises rush out movies like a year or two after.
3 years is not rushing, though. We had the Batman Begins in 2005 and the Dark Knight, and then 4 years later, Dark Knight Rises. 6 years? fucking get off your ass, Matt Reeves. Or hand it over.
Mason's gonna fucking come to your house and kill you.
Maybe not.
It'll never get the movie.
Yeah. I'm still proud of you for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Not mad at you for that, so I'm giving you some grace, but you're really getting me right now. You're pissing me off.
Yeah. So, hopefully we get to interview him on the red carpet for this movie. We'll be famous enough, and you can just rant to him on how this pisses you off.
Was it Uwe Ball that got into a fight with all the film critics in like the boxing ring?
I think so.
Yeah, me and Matt Reeves are gonna fucking duke it out once he's healthy. If he's not,
You're gonna hit a fucking sick man.
Well, once he's healthy, that's why I prefaced that.
That's
like
crazy.
I punch him if he's dying.
You're gonna punch one sick man?
Yeah.
Crazy work. Anyways, that's all we got for today.
Under an hour.
Under an hour, yeah, not bad. I can stretch this out for another 5 minutes.
Please don't.
No, thanks for joining us for on the road edition of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Always appreciate anybody that listens, anybody that watches on YouTube, anybody that comments on our social medias and sharing stuff with us. We always love that, love appreciation. As Mason fucking slams on the brakes here.
You got a slowdown coming up.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't criticizing you. Yeah.
Jesus.
We're getting to the end of our rope.
Yeah.
I say anything and Mason screams at me, so.
Yeah, or we watch The Basement Yard late at night and I'm like getting pissed off and he's like, this is why people don't play games with you. I'm
Yeah.
like, I know. Not fun to play games with you. You're really competitive.
Mason's very easy to rage bait, so
Yeah.
an 8-hour fucking car trip where I just slightly chirp him and then he's like, whoa, what do you mean? That's what I'm doing! That's his reaction.
Shane Gillis and another dude from Tires.
Oh, no, Shane! What are you doing? Steve Gerben.
Steve Gerben. Fucking love him.
Fucking Gerby.
Oh.
Oh, no. So we have, 6 hours and 52 minutes left. I don't know if that accounts for the time change, because I guess...
That's the driving time.
That's the driving
time. Hey, we'll be getting home. That is now the correct
time. Oh, yeah, we
We're
switched
out
over.
of Michigan now, so.
Okay, yeah, so that's cool. We get an hour back. But, yeah, fuck it, maps for not accounting the time zone change so that we know at the beginning of our trip.
I will say, if it's a setting that I have not checkmarked, sorry about that.
It shouldn't have to be a
My
setting. That shouldn't have to be a thing. It should just automatically, if you're
yeah.
going through time zones, whatever.
Or like just give you a notification of like, hey, by the way, you are driving into an. Anyways, you don't need it.
We're making excuses because we're dumb and didn't think about that on the trip out here. So, anyways, thanks again for joining us. Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. In film, it's not just about what's on screen, but who's next to you in the theater.
From Corey and I at Slate Night, that's a wrap.